A father was washing his car with his son. The son looked at him and asked, "Dad, can you please just use a sponge?" Because he's using the
Okay. That
kid
took
as
that
the
took me a
sponge.
second.
Yeah, you're a bit
That
slow.
laugh was so obnoxious, though.
Yeah, like everything else you do.
Welcome to the Barely South podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is our second episode of the Barely South podcast, and something that I wanted to say real fast is last time, we did our introduction, but we forgot to explain why it's called Barely South, and it's because where we're located, Kentucky, Ohio area, it's
We're right below the Mason-Dixon line, so we're some people don't even consider us Southern, but we
yeah,
like to call ourselves Southern. We identify with that side of the United States.
yeah.
So
So I mean, some people consider us Southern, some people don't. So Barely South, we thought kind of fit.
yeah, and my dad kind of came up with the name one day when we were driving, and
Yeah, but I like it. But yeah, we forgot to explain why it's called that last time. So there you
yeah,
go. I know you had something to talk about that you've been holding out on me for like since the last time we did it, and I'm dying to hear it.
yeah. I was doing some research on Abraham Lincoln because we've in school we were kind of learning about him, and before he died, before he was assassinated, he was going through an extreme period of depression because his son passed away. And one morning, or possibly one night, he came into his bedroom and looked in a mirror, and he saw his reflection, but it wasn't like himself. It was a very pale version of himself, and it wasn't mimicking what he was doing. So like it was almost like he saw his own ghost. And he jumped back, and it scared him so bad that his wife, even though he didn't audibly scream, knew something was wrong from the other room, walked into that room, and then asked him what was wrong, and he told her exactly what happened. And she knew immediately. She was like, "You're going to make the next term. You're going to become president on the next term, but you're not going to survive the term." And she told him that, and then he was assassinated. But the crazy thing about this is, up until his death, almost every night he was having dreams about his death. And he went and told doctors about this, and they were brushing him off about it and stuff. And then, anyway, many years after his death, um, Winston Churchill, who was obviously very far after his death
Yeah.
in the World Wars and stuff, um, he walked out of his bedroom, or walked into his bedroom from his bathroom after he had just taken a bath, and saw Abraham Lincoln's ghost in this pale white phase sitting beside his fireplace.
Wait, who took a bath? What was that? I missed that part.
That was Winston Churchill.
Oh, okay.
So the Prime Minister of England at that point.
Okay. That
Yeah. And
wow.
he was completely naked, walked into his bedroom, and Abraham Lincoln was sitting there. And he said that he even talked to him for a second. And then he disappeared. And then not only that, President Eisenhower said that he seen Lincoln walking through the halls of the White House. And in my opinion, I think that is possibly a demon who took the form of Abraham Lincoln, scared Abraham Lincoln with it, and has continued to scare people with it. But what's crazy is, have you seen the pictures of Abraham Lincoln's ghost?
No.
You've never seen that? All right, I'm gonna
No.
pull it up for you real quick.
Okay. While you're doing that, that is so crazy. That like I'm not sure where you read that at, but if that is true, that is like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like,
All right, so there's multiple pictures of it. This first one is right here. It's with his wife. They took a picture of his wife, and the photographer just randomly started seeing that in the picture. And many people have tried to prove that it's fake. And I think one person said that they did prove it was fake, but that didn't prove that they proved that it was fake.
huh?
And then
that is a freaky picture.
yeah, if you get the chance, make sure you look that picture up because it is
Yeah, No, it's just like a picture of who's supposed to be Abraham Lincoln's wife sitting down, and in the background is like a white outline of Abraham Lincoln right behind her. That's like really weird.
During some construction that was on the White House, this was the picture that they found or that they took.
Oh my goodness.
And then there's one more that is like very distinctly Abraham Lincoln.
That the one that he just showed me of the White House, it's like like in a construction zone, you just see an outline of a person, and it's like very visibly the outline of a person, and amidst like some rubble. That's like really weird. But just like standing there and see through.
Give me just a second. There's
Man, this is crazy.
this one right here. This one right here. So this, I believe, is right after the White House was finished during Reconstruction after Abraham Lincoln's death, like way far into the future after that. Still black and white photos, but they zoomed in on that specific point right there, and you can see
Oh my goodness.
there's a man
Oh my
with a
gosh.
top hat and a
Like-
beard, a very tall man leaning up against one of the pillars.
I just got goosebumps. If that, like for real, if that's true, like all that happened, that's like scary.
I just find it awful hard to believe that that many people have seen this, and even Winston Churchill talking to him. And all of these are very accredited people. I mean, presidents and
Yeah,
stuff seeing this.
Wow.
So,
that's like actually kind of scary.
but then something that I want to bring up is in since we're talking about demons, I want to bring the Bible into it too. So, in Luke 9, my bad. Let me find it real quick. Luke 9, verse 1 and 2, he says, "Then he called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all devils and to cure diseases, and he sent them to preach the kingdom of God and to heal the sick." So, even if this is 100% true and that is a demon, obviously I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but
Yeah.
demons who can take the form of humans and present themselves as ghosts are obviously going to be something that's real. We have
Yeah.
authority over those, so if you are seeing things like that, you might want to start praying.
Yeah, or just speak the name of Jesus. That's what. Yeah, you hear a lot of stories of people seeing stuff like that, and they just speak the name of Jesus, and immediately it's gone.
Yep.
Because like, it's in a couple songs I think, but it's like, and from the Bible, but it says like demons tremble at like the sound of his name or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's like, I mean, like really though, just the name of Jesus has power against those people. But yeah, that whole thing is so scary.
Yeah, for real.
That's like, I'm gonna be looking into that in a little bit.
Yeah, I did some research on it, and it was the stuff. That's some of the stuff that came up. I just looked up Abraham Lincoln ghost, and all those pictures came up. And because I had heard stuff about it before, I think
Yeah.
like on the History Channel or something, which isn't a very
No, this is the first time I've heard about it. I've never heard about that.
yeah.
That's
So what's some stuff that you got?
that's crazy. Okay, so real quick, I've got a story about Bigfoot. And so just
For the record, we are avid believers in Bigfoot.
and
I don't think we said that.
hopefully throughout the episodes that we're doing, we can convince you or just give you good evidence that he exists. Okay, so this is my papa. He has a daughter that lives in Washington, and he went to
State or DC?
yeah, the state.
Okay.
And he was there visiting her, and while they were there, they went on this like train tour or whatever. It's like through the mountains, and you're just on a train of some sort, and it's just like a sightseeing tour. It's like how they described it seems pretty cool, but there's a lot of people on this train, and he says they're going around a curve, and whenever they get to on the other side of this curve, it opens up into like a big valley with a big old creek, like probably 50 foot across. Like that's how big this creek bed is, and it wasn't completely full of water whenever he was there. It's just the creek bed was
Right.
that big, but he said he looks over and there was a Bigfoot sitting on a rock beside the creek. And he said whenever it saw the train, it took off running towards the woods. And him and my nanny saw it. They were both right there. And so he said he believes it was actually Bigfoot. He said he thinks it was actually him. Obviously, they don't have any pictures or videos of it, but
Right.
and my nanny does not believe that she thinks it was somebody dressed up like one just for the train, like a tour thing, just for the people that see it
Okay,
to see
so
it. And
even
so
even denying it, she doesn't think she's not denying that it was there. She
yeah,
said
no,
something was
yeah,
there for
something
sure.
it was there, 100%,
Okay.
whatever it was, and like what she's saying, it makes sense that like
Right.
they have a lot of people on this train, they're gonna have something like that.
Especially considering since it's in Washington,
Yeah,
the
which
Bigfoot
is
capital of the world.
yeah, there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings there. And which you like, it just her point of it, I can see that it's just kind of another tourist attraction, or that it's like something more that you get on the train ride, which is kind of neat. I understand that if they do that, but also Bigfoot capital of the world, a lot of sightings happen, and it wasn't just one person who saw it; a couple people saw it,
Right.
and so I think either one's possible. I kind of am leaning toward that it was him, just because I kind of
Right.
hope that it was him.
For real.
But I don't know. There's no way to know.
So
But
this was your Papa James, right?
yeah,
James. Okay.
and so yeah, I don't know how long ago it was. I want to say early 2000s, but I'm not for sure. Um, but yeah, like I just think if that's like another thing, if it was actually Bigfoot, that's really cool. I hope I see Bigfoot one day. But yeah, he definitely he thinks that it was real, and she doesn't. So I've heard both sides of the story, but
Right.
I don't know. I kind of agree. I kind of like I said, I kind of agree with my papa just because I want to. Like I want Bigfoot to be real.
Right.
So
You don't have any proof necessarily because you didn't see it,
yeah,
but
and yeah, neither of them can like prove it or anything, but
Right.
it's just evidence of. There's both sides. I mean, I can see both sides.
gotta take it for what it is.
Yeah. So I do have a question for you, like our one big question that we bring. It's kind of like last week. I think I don't really remember what I said, but it was sort of like this question. But what, in your opinion, what is the best pet that a person could have? And after you answer that, what is your dream pet?
You say pet
Pet, like
Pet.
animal that you keep in
Okay.
your house with you.
with you.
Yeah, like
Okay.
or
So
I mean,
it can't
okay,
be like
it
outside
could,
in the barn.
I mean, it could be in a cage. I mean, like a fish or something like that could work. Like you're not sleeping with a fish, but it's in.
Right.
Your
But
house. I mean,
no barn animals.
just an animal that you own. Let's just say that.
Okay. Okay. Um. So I think most practical, most like best is probably a guard dog or something along those
Yeah.
lines. A guard dog / hunting dog. That's
Yeah.
just what would be most practical. You get the most use out of it.
Yeah.
Cats are pointless.
Yeah.
There's no point
Yeah,
in having a cat.
I like cats. I mean, I don't need a cat. Like, it's not something that I can't live without. But I'm not a cat or a dog person. I'm both. I don't know.
No, I don't like cats very much, but yeah, I'd say most practical is a dog. My favorite pet is a horse, which I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that's my dream pet because I already have one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually speaking of which, I just went and rode her bareback
That's cool.
the other day. Bareback, still had the bridle and stuff,
Did
but
she get bucked off?
no,
Oh.
she's really calm,
Oh,
which is surprising
that's
because
cool.
we haven't rode her in a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, my dream pet is gonna have to be with Mike Tyson. I want a tiger so bad. I think it'd be so cool to have a pet tiger.
It'd be cool if it wouldn't try to eat you. You know.
Right. You'd have
But
to get it as a what are
Yeah.
baby lions called?
Cubs.
Are they cubs?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought that was bears.
Well, I mean, a lion cub. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Um.
I think so.
Anyway, my.
Yeah.
for
What's
me,
yours?
I didn't really think about it much. I should have thought about my answer because I'm the one that brought the question. But my I think best pet to have, probably a cat or a dog. I would say siding along with you, you can get more use out of a dog. Like, cat's gonna stay by itself most of the
Yeah.
time, and a bigger dog. Like you can go out and play catch with a bigger dog or fetch or whatever. And it can protect what you have. It'd be a guard dog. And for dream pet, man, that's hard. So a lot of people don't like snakes, but my dream pet is probably a piebald python. Um, like a piebald ball python. They are so cool. If you don't know what that looks like, look it up.
I'm gonna look it up real
Okay,
quick.
I feel like I've showed you before.
You probably have,
Yeah.
but
No, they're just so cool. Yeah, I don't have
what
a
is it
snake.
called?
A piebald ball python. And ball pythons don't get super big. They're like 5 to 6 feet. Um, so it's either that or like I don't know, like probably like a monkey. It's like a little monkey or something.
Oh, a monkey would be so
Yeah.
cool.
The only thing you have to like keep diapers on them and stuff.
Like
and that,
which color are you wanting?
let me show me.
Like,
So they're the white, brown, and black ones, and like orange.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually cool.
So it's like a leucistic one mixed with like it's like albino. I think it's called leucistic, but it's like part white and then part like a regular brown and black python.
See, it says this one is albino.
Yeah, that's like an albino piebald ball python. That's
cool. I like
yeah.
the red eyes on that. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
They can get so many unique different looks with snakes. It's really neat.
Yeah, there's so much crossbreeding you can do there with
Yeah.
different breeds, and
Yeah, it's really neat though. But
yeah, I thought my Abraham Lincoln stuff was gonna take longer than what it did. So.
yeah, those stories like that, they really give me the chill bumps.
Oh yeah, for real.
It's crazy.
Oh, I forgot about the bat. The bat.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna tell that
Here,
story.
I'm gonna
Uh,
preface it
Okay, you good. You
with
go.
the first part. So, me and Jackson work at the same place. And one night we we're both leaving at the same time.
We just closed.
Yeah, we just closed, and we're both leaving at the same time. And so mind you, both of our cars have been locked the whole time. I was there about 5 hours, and he was there for about
He just
2 or 3.
called because he needed some help.
Yeah, we had a lot to do that night. So he came in and helped. But we got there to leave. Like I said, cars have been locked the whole time. So I got to my truck, unlock it, get in, and one of my lights above my dashboard is on, which I never turned those on, which was really weird. I was like, okay, maybe I turned that on earlier. Just kind of like whenever I first saw it, I was like, okay. And then I look at my like center console thing that's in between the chairs, and it has like some liquid all over it. It's like wet. And
Did you ever like smell it or anything?
no, I
Like,
didn't smell it.
you
I didn't touch it. I just like I was scared because I had no idea what it was. That and the light being on, I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And I like turned the lights on, like looked all in the back, make sure nothing was in there, and there wasn't anything in there. And like I called him on the way home, and I was like, I have no idea what this is. And he didn't tell me that night because he didn't tell me while we were on the phone. And he told me like the next day that whenever he went out to his car, like Jackson leaving, he gets in and his sunroof is wide open. Like so weird that both of
Yeah,
those things happened to
both-
us on the same night.
I know for a fact I didn't open the sunroof on the way there, and I know that it was closed, and I know my car was completely locked, and it was locked whenever I went there because I forgot my keys were in my pocket. I went to open the door, and it was still locked, so I had to unlock it to get into my car, and then realized the sunroof was open.
Yeah, that's just so weird. And it's like those things happen on the same night, and then what he's about to say happened like a week.
Yeah,
later?
exactly. Was that a?
It was like a week and a half, right?
Yeah, because you called me in on a Tuesday, right?
Maybe. I'm
think-
not for sure. Anyway, it was
Anyway,
really close
it was
together.
either
yeah.
the next Saturday or the Saturday after that.
Yeah, and it's like just all these things. What he's about to say, like all these happening together, are just really weird.
Yeah. So my dad had to borrow my car, so he came to pick me up from work because he was in my car, and he pulled in and just fell asleep. He went to the passenger seat and fell asleep. And so whenever I was done with work, I just walked out there, hopped in, and started driving home. And the way our town's set up is you kind of have to, you drive through the city a little bit from where we work, and then you pass our mall, and then you're like going down this back road. You make a few turns at stop signs, and then you're going down this back road. That's like
Yeah. To
quite
get
a
to your
ways long.
house, yeah.
Yeah, to get to my house, it's quite a bit of a back road.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going down there, and I the windows are up and everything. I don't have anything, whatever. I barely have any music on, and a bat comes down, like just a small bat, probably about like
I would say just your average bat
Yeah.
for around here.
average bat, just comes and lands on the like part of the hood of my car.
Like on the front. And
Yeah,
mind you, he's like moving.
yeah.
like-
I'm going 35 miles an hour down the road.
Yeah.
At this point, and my dad's laid over in the passenger seat, like he's laid. He put the seat back and he's laying down, and he's asleep. And I went, "Hey, Dad," and he didn't answer. And I was like, "Okay, that's kind of strange." So I yelled a little bit louder, and he still didn't answer. And then I yelled louder again, and he still didn't answer. He was laying over there asleep, still. And the bat flies off.
How long?
And-
How long would you say the bat was there for?
Maybe 30 seconds to a minute.
Like that is a long time. For
It's
something that-
genuinely a long time.
Yeah, like-
Going 35 miles an hour down the road, I'm freaking out.
Yeah, especially for that. Like I was just sitting in the blind the other day, and birds kept like flying to the window, but they would just stay there for like 2 seconds before flying off.
Yeah. And I know this was a bat. Like, I know the difference in a bat and a bird. It was for sure a bat. And this
Yeah.
thing was staring at me the entire time. It was so creepy. And then, as soon as the bat flies away, I yell at my dad again. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, get up." And he's like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, why didn't you wake up the 3 times I yelled at you? And he was like, "You didn't yell at me. Shut up." I was like, "No, I yelled at you, Dad. I promise I yelled at you." He was like, "I would have woke up." He was like, "I woke up a few times before." And I was like, "Well, you woke up now. I just saw a bat that was staring into my soul, and you wouldn't answer me." I was freaking out. So I got home, and Mom and Dad just kind of brush it off, and I tell him. Or did I tell you that yet?
No, you waited like a week to
Yeah,
tell me.
I did.
You told our whole class at a Bible study.
Yeah, I did. I waited to tell him because I wasn't
Yeah,
going to say
The
anything
next
until
Tuesday.
now.
Yeah.
But anyway, then the next Tuesday, we're at a Bible study at one of our friends' houses, and I tell this story. I tell them what happened with that bat. And then on my way home, this is a completely different road, a completely different way home. And I'm looking back, like I look up, and in the top left of my windshield, I can see flying beside me, there's a bat that follows me. This time it was only about 10 seconds, but it's following me, like going the same speed as me. I think the speed limit on that road was 35 too. I was probably going like 40. And
Yeah, 5 overrule.
yeah, the bat was keeping up with me, and then I like tried to ignore it, and I looked back, and it was gone. I went home, and then I went and texted him about it, and Tommy was like, "Start praying." He was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's just so weird that all those things happen. I don't even know. Like, and it could just be coincidence. I don't personally believe in coincidences, and like things can happen, but you know everything happens for a reason. But still, that's like so creepy.
yeah,
Like,
I was freaking out for a minute. Might have had a
Yeah.
little trouble going to sleep that night.
yeah, I would have.
Have trouble going to
sure.
sleep every night though. So
That stuff can get creepy real fast. And
yeah,
there's just so many stories of stuff, weird stuff happening to people, and then it turns out being something or just something scary, you know. And there's just so many different ways that could go. It could
Yeah.
be nothing, or it could be something
right.
terrifying, you know.
Like my family tries to push me away from thinking that it was like a vampire or something. But
No, oh
That-
my goodness.
that
If you see it again, I don't think I'll ever sleep again or drive on that road. I don't. Like, if it comes
Bro,
back
you're not
again-
coming to my house then. It's on every road that is coming to my house. Not every road. You still got one way.
No, that's just. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's so creepy though.
It's no.
I'm just hoping something like that doesn't happen again. But if it does, we'll definitely talk about it again.
Yeah, we'll let you know if anything does happen.
Yeah. Phew. Man, that like, and I've heard that story so many times now. Just in the past week, we've told it to so many people.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
Who all tell us we're crazy.
yeah,
Might be, but
But it's still every time, it scares me. Chill bumps.
yeah. You gotta drive home tonight in the dark, so good luck.
Yeah, I gotta take him back to his house.
My mom won't let me drive to his house by myself yet because I haven't drove there by myself yet. So
So,
I'm a bit
Huh.
confused by it, but
Yeah,
it's fine. I
it's
don't
fine.
question it.
Yeah, parents make the rules and you gotta follow them. Anyway, let's talk. Like I mentioned, being in the blind and stuff and hunting. This is my first year hunting. I just got my first buck a few times. It was actually my third hunt of the year and stuff. So I you know, got him and I've been practicing for a while.
Keep
Got him.
in mind, he's a bow hunter,
Yeah, I
so
shot him with
it's
a
all
bow.
legal.
Yeah, and in deer season, obviously.
Yeah.
Not a poacher. But anyway, I like I've just kind of started falling in love. I like being in the woods, like hunting, being like all the time. That's just if I have free time, that's what I'm trying to do. But where my house is, me, my grandparents, and my uncle and his family, like and my cousin, we all live on the same hill. And it's like there's the road, and you go up a driveway, and there's my grandparents' house. And you go up a driveway a little bit more, there's my house, and you go up a little bit more, and that's my cousin's house. And like this is a pretty big hill, and then you can go up even more. This part isn't reachable by car. You have to walk or drive like a four wheeler up to it. Um, but I went up there, and me and Jackson were at Walmart the night before, just because why not? Like around here,
Walmart's fun.
It's like the only thing you can do around here.
We got Camp Landing, which is
Yeah.
like a mall that has not really a
Like
mall though.
a bowling alley
It's
and
like
an
a
arcade.
bowling alley, an arcade, and a couple restaurants, some stores.
But anyway, we were just there, and we were just looking around in like the fishing and hunting area, and we saw these calls, and they look like a duck call, but it's called a flex tone, dying rabbit call or something like that. It's for predator. It's like for calling in predators, like a coyote or a fox or something. And so I go up on to the very top of the hill, and I had just watched a video on how to use it, and so I am up there and I call it, and I'm walking around, and like I wasn't hunting or anything. I wasn't trying to kill anything if it pops out, but I just had like sweatpants and a t-shirt on. I had my knife in my hand, just for protection. I'm somewhat of an overthinker whenever it comes to that kind of thing, but I call it, do the call once, and I'm walking around, and I do it again, and I like am looking in one direction, towards like the left of the hill, of the top of the hill, and I just kind of glance over to my right, and whenever I do, this fox is just standing like 5 yards away from me, like so close, and like as fast as I can, like I'm like I'm fumbling in my pocket trying to get my phone out, because I'm like, well, this is crazy, and it's like a full-grown red fox, and like I said, like 5 yards away from me, and I pull my phone out as it starts running away. I got a good video of it, as it runs off into the woods, but like that was just like one of the coolest things I've ever done. That like the dying rabbit call actually worked, and I was able to do that, and it just popped out.
Yeah,
But now,
I don't have very good phone service at my house, and I just got a text message saying this is crazy, and nothing came with it, and I was like, what the heck? It was from Tommy, obviously, and about like 30 seconds later, that video came in, and I showed my mom. She was like, oh my gosh, he just called in a red fox. Like,
yeah,
you
no,
don't see those very often around here.
yeah,
It's
no,
like
they're like very skittish animal.
Yeah,
They don't
like-
come around very much, and
it's lucky to see him once a year around here.
it was so cool. But now I kind of have a bone to pick with that fox because it killed 2 of my chickens, which makes me so mad. So I'm dealing with that right now. We don't have to go into that, but yeah, no, it's just like one of the coolest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you're talking about hunting this year, rifle season. He technically lives in Ohio, but
Yeah, I mean,
he-
I live here, so I have to, have a
Yeah.
Ohio
he uses
license
an
and
Ohio
stuff,
hunting
so.
license. I have Kentucky hunting stuff, and so I can't hunt with him. He can't hunt with me unless we buy the extra licenses. But
But it's so expensive.
that's just expensive.
yeah.
There's no point in it. But he prefers bow hunting. That's his thing.
Yeah,
He's good with a bow.
Yeah, I've
I
done
am
archery
not.
my whole life.
I spent like $90 on supplies for my grandpa's old bow, and went out and shot it. And oh my gosh, I'm bad at it. I tried sighting it in. I got it sighted in decently, but I'm just bad.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm
no
waiting for
offense,
rifle
but he
season.
is kind of. No offense.
You're good. What? Oh, you're
Yeah.
agreeing with
Yeah,
me? Okay.
yeah.
Thought you had another insult.
No.
Yeah, I'm not good with a bow. But I'm waiting for rifle season. That's the only way that I've killed deer. And once rifle season comes in, I'm hoping to either lay down a 10 point that his dad has claimed to see.
Yeah, no, I saw it too.
Oh, you saw it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
leaving your house.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but there's several doe that I see in our backyard just about every time that I walk through. By the way, I live out in the middle of middle of nowhere, so like
Yeah, got a lot of land around.
yeah, I've got plenty of room to shoot guns completely safely.
Yeah.
But I'll let y'all know if I lay one down this year.
Yeah.
Hopefully I do.
Like I said, I got my first buck. It's an 8-point, and I like where I got it at. There was a 10-point too that had been seeing with it on my trail cameras, and I was hoping for him to pop out, but the 8-point didn't. I said it was my third time hunting, my first evening hunt. I had done 2 morning hunts, and I'm out there, and I'm like literally, you can hunt 30 minutes after sunset, and sunset at like 6:59 or something like that, and I'm sitting up there, and it's on top of the hill, like it's on top of a big hill, so it has good sunlight up until like the sun actually goes down.
Keep in mind this is bow hunting. You're not allowed to shoot a gun after dark if
Yeah,
you're deer hunting.
bow hunt,
But
yeah.
bow hunting is 15 minutes after.
Yeah, 30
In
minutes.
Ohio. 30?
Yeah,
No, 30.
but so I'm sitting up there, and like there's a lot of like you're talking about bats and stuff. I get scared somewhat easily. I don't try to, but it happens. So I don't like being out there in the dark, and I'll get better about it. I've been trying to get myself better about that, but I was just taking one last look around. I was in my blind, and I just like I said, taking one last look around, and I see over this mound these antlers just pop up, and I hadn't seen a deer yet. Like those 3 hunts, this is the first year I saw its antlers pop up over the top of the thing. I'm like, oh my goodness! And I grab my bow, put it in my hand before it sees me. Get my rest hooked on the string, and I'm sitting there, and it pops out, and it's just walking around, strolling, and it's like I've been practicing with my bow at about like 20 to 30 yards, and not much at 30, mainly just 20, and so it pops out, and I know you need to be like really sure with your shot before you shoot a deer, and I was pretty confident in it, but it was a little bit further than I'd been practicing, and I knew that I needed to not use the same pin. I needed to use the next pin on my sight, it's like for the further away thing, and I getting ready, and it was broad. It stood there broadside, quartering away, and that's like a perfect shot with a bow.
Yeah.
And I line my sight up, and I have my bow pulled back for like 7 seconds, which like doesn't seem like a long time, but it kind of is. And I'm just
feels like a long time when
yeah.
you're aiming at a deer. Your time slows down.
I'm just like debating in my head if I should shoot this or not, because like I said, it's my third hunt. Like I've not done any hunting at all hardly,
and there's a 10-point up on his property.
Yeah, I was debating. I was like, I came to the conclusion it would be dumb for me not to shoot, like take a shot, just because it's still a huge deer for my first. You know what I mean? Right. It's a big 8-point. It scored a 121. But I just basically closed my eyes and shoot. Like I didn't actually close my eyes, but it just felt like that. Like I don't remember pulling the trigger or like pulling the release, and letting shooting the bow. I don't remember that part. And
the adrenaline gets so high. Yeah, it's crazy. If you've never shot a deer, I encourage it 100%. Yeah. Obviously, do everything legal, but it's exhilarating.
Yeah. No, and I hear it hit, and it jumps up in the air and runs down the hill, and I start getting buck fever. I'm like shaking, and I pull my phone out and call my dad. I'm like, listen, I just shot an 8-point, and he's like, really? And I'm like, no way, because he was just talking to my grandpa, and he was like talking about how I probably wasn't going to see a deer today, like 5 seconds before I called him, and I called him and told him that, and it ran like, I don't know, less than 50 yards and fell in the middle of a field. So it was perfect. And the shot placement wasn't great. It went right behind the shoulder blade, and it broke the arrow tip off. Like, not just the tip. It was about 5 inches in, but it broke it off.
Worth it for the deer, though.
Huh?
Worth it for the deer, though.
Yeah, no,
breaking the arrow.
yeah. And no, like I said, it dropped in like 50 yards. The deer did not suffer.
Right.
It was like a pretty fast kill. Because sometimes with like you get a gut shot, it's gonna die, but you're probably not gonna find it because it has a long way to go before it dies. But yeah, the shot placement wasn't great, but it worked out really well. And like I said, I wasn't used to using that sight, but like I think I'm addicted to hunting now. It's like my new favorite thing.
Yeah.
It's so great, and I got the meat. I tried the deer steak. It's my new favorite meat to eat. And
Gonna get him to try squirrel next.
yeah, I've been trying. I need to go squirrel hunting, but the
Squirrel's
deer's
my
actually
favorite
getting.
meat.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good, but
Rabbit's pretty good too.
the deer's getting mounted right now. It should be done pretty soon, but man, yeah, I'm definitely addicted now.
We'll see if we can put the picture of the deer as one of the covers of like one episode or something.
Yeah.
We'll see
No,
about
and
that.
once we start videoing, because right now obviously we're just doing audio, podcast, but one day we'll start recording it, and it'll be in the background for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We'll bring the skull from mine. Set
Yeah.
it.
because he's killed a buck too.
Yeah.
A few years
I
ago.
want to tell the story of that.
Okay, yeah.
So
go ahead.
this was a few years ago. I'm not 100% sure how old I was. Maybe 11 or 12. Might have been 13. I don't know. But I was sitting in a blind. I was using, I believe, a Youth 243 rifle, and I was with my grandpa. He took me hunting, and I'm pretty sure it was just me and him out there. Like, because most of the time, my family loves to hunt, and sometimes we'll have like a big property that we rent or lease or whatever, and it'll be like me and my grandpa in one blind on this part of the property, me and my dad and my brother in one part, and my uncle and my cousin in another part, or something like that. And this time it was just me and my grandpa out there though, and it's debatable. I call it an 8-point. My sister says it's a 7-point. You can hang a ring on one of the antler or on the last antler,
But technically,
so
it has to be an inch.
as long as you can hang a ring on it.
No.
Yeah,
it has to be
We'll measure.
to score it. It has to be an
Yeah, to
inch.
score it. but
Yeah.
I don't get my deer scored because we gut it and all of that at
Yeah.
our house.
I mean,
we do everything at our house.
just since it was my first one, it was pretty big. My dad said I should get it mounted, and the guy that mounted it, they're just
Right.
mounting it. He scored it for me.
Right.
That's the only reason I know.
Yeah, I've never got any of my. Well, I've only ever shot one, but anyway, I was out there with my grandpa, and me and him, the way we hunt is we take turns, or the way we used to, R.I.P. But
It's so
we-
sad.
it's fine. We would take turns napping, and one of us would be playing on a phone, and the other one would be napping, and if we heard something, we'd wake the other one up. So it was my turn to be napping. He was over there playing Golf Clash on his phone, and he woke me up. He goes, "Jackson, there's a deer coming." And I was like, "Okay." And so I got my gun up there, put it on a stand, a shooting stand. No, it wasn't a tripod. It's just like sticks in the ground.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. It
That
might as well
works.
be.
Yeah.
But
Same concept.
yeah, and I set it up there, and it came out and ate at the corn that I have laying out, or that we had laying out there. Which baiting deer is legal in Kentucky. I know it's not in some parts of the world or of the U.S.,
Yeah.
but in Kentucky it is legal. And he goes, "Wait for the right shot. Wait for the right shot." And it was facing right at us, but it had its head down eating the corn. And it looked up and stared right at us. He goes, "Forget the last shot. Shoot it in the chest." I went, "Okay." So I shot it right in the chest, and me being 11 years old, that thing looked like it jumped 30 foot in the air. It jumped straight up, both feet. It rubbed its nose on the ground for about half a second and fell over.
Whoa.
And yeah, it
Like,
didn't move.
Yeah, those shots aren't typically ones that you're supposed to take.
No,
a
but
chest shot looking right at you. But I mean, it worked.
it's 11-year-old me scared out of my mind because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be able to shoot a deer. I'm gonna be able to shoot a deer." And I had been going hunting since I was like 9 years old, and always been too loud to actually see anything.
Yeah.
So, there was another time that I shot at a deer, completely missed. It was just a doe. It was before that, I believe. And a time that me and my cousin and my grandpa were out hunting, and I believe it was a 6-point buck walked out in front of us. And my grandpa goes, "Okay, you guys are going to take the shot at the same time. That way, if one of you miss, because I'm probably 12 at this point. He's 11. There's a good chance we're both going to miss." So he goes,
That's weird.
"All right, you guys take the shot at the same time." We both knew where we were aiming, and my grandpa goes 3, 2, and as soon as 2 went off, my cousin shot, and the deer ran off, and he didn't hit it. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I've never heard of somebody telling two people to shoot at it the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if we might need to cut that out if we don't.
Nah, I mean,
I don't know.
it didn't actually end up happening, so
no,
it's
nothing
fine.
happened.
But yeah, I have one more story.
You said something about a pizza roll.
Yeah, do you have anything?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Tell me
we'll do this, and then we'll do the verse of the day. But so this happened like 2 nights ago. Me and my parents are sitting in our living room watching the World Series because it just ended. The Dodgers just won, but we were sitting there watching one of the games.
What?
Anyway, and I had made some pizza rolls. Just pizza rolls are a really good snack, and I'm sitting there eating them, and I have my water sitting there. It's like just bottle of water, and I finish eating them, except like I'm chewing my last one up, but like enough to where I can take a drink because I was thirsty, and I'm chewing it up, and I take a drink, and as the water is in my mouth, I get a little like tickle in the back of my throat. Normally, you can. Now I don't know what it was, but I take the drink, and as it's in there, like I said, it tickles back in my throat, and I can normally like cough a little bit and keep my mouth closed and keep the water from spilling out.
Yeah.
But this time, it was so bad, I coughed, and like all the water shot out, and then water was shooting out of my nose, that never happens to me. And I look, and there's pieces of the pizza roll coming out of my nose.
That is nasty.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And I go and like blow my nose to try and get it out, and just more and more pizza rolls keeps coming out. I'm like, what in the world? And
How many pizza rolls were in your throat when you did that?
I don't know. But my parents were just sitting there. They were like stunned at what just happened because I was like choking to death on some water, and I just like spit everywhere in the middle of our floor. And they were like, what just happened? And
well, you have carpet too there, don't you?
Yeah, no, I cleaned it up.
Okay,
but,
good.
Yeah, no, it was so weird. It was like the oddest thing, and I like was scared because I was like, I'm about to die because I cannot breathe right now because there's water in every part of my body that can get air in. But it was so scary. Yeah, that happened the other night, and I hope it never happens again.
That's hilarious.
It was the worst feeling ever.
That is funny.
Well, anyway, before we wrap up, I'm going to bring the verse of the day. And so today's is found in 1 Corinthians 10. It's actually 2 verses, but it's 23 through 24. And it reads, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. So I heard that verse the other day, and it wasn't the first time, but it just kind of stuck out to me the other day, and I just thought that would be good to bring.
Did we bring that up at the Bible study?
We may have,
but
that's not where I heard it from.
Where'd you hear it?
I don't remember. I just know that I had it since like the last podcast we had. Anyway,
okay.
I just really like that verse because it's like, it's just basically saying like, yeah, it's something you might be technically allowed to do something, but like, is it good for you? Like, is it doing anything that you need or that's necessary? You know what I mean? It's like, you can do it, but like, why? Whenever it's not necessary, and not everything makes me a better person. You know what I mean? Makes me a better follower of Jesus.
And where'd you say that's at?
It's 1 Corinthians 10.
Okay.
And
I just needed to know the book because so that's Paul writing.
Yeah, it's Paul to the Corinthians.
So the thing is, though, I think it's interesting. Obviously, I don't think he means it literally when he says all things are lawful for me.
Yeah, I mean like
all
things that are lawful. You know what I mean?
I don't think a Christian should be going out there and killing people, obviously. But just because the Bible says you're allowed to do something doesn't mean like it's not good for you.
And not even like it says you're allowed to do something. Like doesn't say you're not allowed to.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? And
That's something that's taken.
yeah,
in
there's so many things
ran
you
with.
can say that, like, well, the Bible doesn't say not to, but like that doesn't mean you. Even though the Bible doesn't say you shouldn't do it, that doesn't mean you should. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's kind of what I think that's what the verse is saying.
Yeah, that's what the Holy Spirit's for too. God,
Yeah.
Like Jesus sent the Holy Spirit down whenever he left, so that we have a conscience. We're
Yeah.
like, oh, I understand that that's probably not good for me to do.
Yeah. Yeah. This is I thought that verse was pretty good. I really liked it.
Yep.
Hope that helps you get through your day, or if you're thinking about doing something that the Bible doesn't say you're not allowed to, but not necessarily it's good to do, may help you make that decision.
Yeah.
So, well, I think that's all for this podcast.
Thank y'all for listening. Make sure that you share the podcast with your friends and family.
Follow too. Go watch it on YouTube and Spotify. Not just one. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just
If you want to support, watch on Spotify and YouTube.
and give us a like and comment and all that.
Or
but yeah, like you said, share it with everybody you know.
yeah.
Yeah, we just really enjoy doing this. So
Yeah.
hope you guys enjoyed
Even
this
if
episode.
it doesn't go anywhere, it's just fun to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We said we were hoping to get this, longer podcast. How long is this? Okay, so yeah, this was about 46 minutes. This is a lot better than our last one.
yeah. Obviously, y'all don't want to hear us talk for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I feel like 45 minutes is pretty good cutoff time.
Well, yeah, thanks for watching or listening, technically.
Yeah.
Not
Not watching yet.
Well,
Eventually.
yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you.